Hey, wanted to let y'all know to put November the 14th on your calendar. I'm going to be doing a live Turkey Talk that evening on all the social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. You can find us on there. We're going to be answering your questions on all things Thanksgiving. It could be turkey brining. It could be cooking that turkey. It could be what kind of turkey do I need to cook. It could be green bean casserole. But we're doing it on November 14th. I'm also going to be signing some hats live during the Turkey Talk because we're raising money for our local food bank. We got a goal to make $4,000 to help feed some families for Thanksgiving. So y'all put it on your calendar for November 14th. Tune in. Let's talk turkey.
Welcome to Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcolm and Chelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm Reed, joined by my lovely, talented wife, rocking her Marcus King hat today. And got Tyler over on the board. How y'all doing?
Good. You know, I like a good hat.
We're into Turkey Month, aren't we?
It seems like it's come too soon.
No, man, what? We finally get the weather's going to be cooler. It's going to be beautiful.
We pulled all the
Christmas decorations out. Is that what you do? Like right day after Halloween, you take out all the Christmas stuff?
Well, I mean, they're doing a shop around locally this weekend. So
man, it was crazy. Last weekend we went and watched some Rebels play, and we just went to a little restaurant and had lunch, but it was in Senatobia in downtown. It was like their Christmas thing last weekend. So
and it was 2 days after
2 days after Halloween. They were having the kids dressed up, getting pictures with Santa, and I was like, man, it was still hot.
Yeah.
Like I was like, what is going on? What are they
doing
Christmas stuff? You just can't wait to put the pumpkins up to start the Christmas stuff. I mean, what are you going to do that for 27 days and have Thanksgiving one day and then right back to Christmas mode? You get 2 months of Christmas. That's a little extreme.
Are you going to complain when I put the tree up?
No, go ahead.
You always are like,
I'm ready. I've watched all the scary movies I need to watch up to Halloween. Now we can move into the holidays.
Yeah, there's no Thanksgiving music. There's no Thanksgiving movies,
Just good eating.
So I've been asking this question around the office this week, and I'll ask y'all because I haven't asked you yet. What movie do you watch to like kick off the holiday season to y'all?
I got one. Christmas Vacation.
But see, I don't like watching it to kick it off.
Yeah.
It's too soon. Those are like the three big ones I have to watch like every year. Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story, and Elf. Those are my three movies. But I'm probably not going to watch them till December. I'm not watching them in November.
Yeah, we don't do like a bunch of Hallmark Christmas movies and stuff like that.
We just start early because like our kids get really involved and stuff. And I came
already.
Yeah, we kick off with Polar Express every year, like on November 1st.
Really?
Like a thing,
yeah. No, I can't do that. I would be so sick of Christmas if we started that right now. I can't do that. Are they already playing it? Like one radio station locally normally turns into all Christmas radio, but usually it's like after Thanksgiving. It's not the entire month of
No, they start November 1st.
No, they don't.
Yes, they
There's
do.
The River's playing Christmas music.
I bet money.
Target, we went to Target on November 2nd and they were already playing Christmas music.
Oh, I guarantee you Walmart's rolled out. Like they go from school supplies to Halloween mask to Christmas.
I went a couple days for Halloween to find something for Halloween, and it was already consolidated down to like one little spot, and it was all Christmas.
They're gonna make that money. Holiday shoppers.
That's when we got to get it up in the shop.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's one reason why we have to do it is because if you don't get scheduled, if you got somebody coming to decorate, you won't get it done if you wait till last minute. You better do it when they can do it.
So anyway, get off your complaining about Christmas.
I'm not complaining. I'm excited. Thanksgiving and Christmas is hunting season. I just don't think we should rush through Thanksgiving. I think it needs its month to get ready for it. There's all kinds of ways to cook turkeys.
Too much work to wait till.
All kinds of ways to cook turkeys and hams and all the side dishes. You got to work on that stuff to get it right on Turkey Day.
It's too much work to wait for like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need the months.
Got to enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah.
For Christmas? Or,
yeah.
Oh, that's what you're thinking? It's like.
If I'm going to put all that effort into putting up the trees and doing the things and. We're going to sit.
When you were a kid, when did your parents break out the Christmas stuff?
The Friday after Thanksgiving.
That was
Saturday after Thanksgiving.
That was probably, I don't know if my mom was that fast, but it was in December, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was like the weekend after Thanksgiving.
But
we were doing family things that whole weekend. We didn't have time because, I mean, there's always like, you got your family on Thanksgiving, you go visit, and then you got other people, other family members and other grandmas and all that stuff.
Got to go to great grandma.
Yeah, so it's spread out. So it was always into December before we ever saw any Christmas stuff.
Well, times are changing. American Royal was this past weekend.
It was.
Did you see who got first place chicken in the open?
Fire Dancer.
Fire
was he
Dancer
cooking with Razor Racks or was he under fire? Was he cooking under Fire Dancer? Was it good?
Because Razor Racks also placed.
Congratulations, Eric. That's a fine job. I saw the big trophy. That's a cool trophy.
There was 400. So he got it first place chicken in the open.
Okay.
440 teams.
That's pretty good chicken. Who won the overall?
Rio Valley won pork. This is all the open.
Okay.
Rio Valley won pork, Rusty Pig, ribs, Team Chupacabra, brisket, and Chunky Barbecue won the open. Grand champion.
What about the invitational? You get that?
Rusty Pig got chicken for the invitational. Hot Daddy Barbecue got ribs, all forked up for Q. Got pork. That's a good name. Barbecue Daddies was brisket. And Hot Daddy's Barbecue was grand champion.
Congratulations. Everybody had their name called. That's awesome. Man, the roll seems late. Had it Halloween weekend.
When did they used to do it? September?
It was always October. But it was before the Jack. And the Jack was always before Halloween. So I guess they keep, depending on what's going on at the venue where they're having it now.
Times are changing.
I bet you there was a race or something that kicked the weekend off to where they couldn't use that. Do they still have it at the racetrack?
I think so. Yeah.
Didn't you guys say that it like rains a lot? Like it's like a.
No, I mean, it never did rain. It would just get cold. But when it used to be in the old spot, I liked it when it was the old, like the stockyards downtown. And
that was the coldest I've ever been in my life.
Like the weather, it'd be nice. And then in one day, it would just, the wind would kick up and it would just turn cold.
We put a heating pad between us and
survived one night. We'd run the trailer. We'd rented out of gas, and so there wasn't no heat. They'd cut the electricity.
I thought it was the propane. It was something.
The electricity was we ran an extension cord off a generator. That's what I'm saying. The propane gas ran out. We couldn't run heat. We didn't have a little space heater or anything. All we had, I don't know why we had a heating pad. Must have had a bad hurt back or something. Case. But we put that between us and just stayed under a cover all night and froze. It was so daggum cold for some Mississippi folk.
We weren't prepared.
No,
I think I brought a hoodie. Yeah, we did not show up correct. So speaking of holidays, I ordered a food warming mat off Amazon.
I've been seeing that on TikTok.
Casserole
warmer?
Yeah, it's like a flat. It looks like a silicone mat. Flat silicone mat that you plug in.
A heating pad for cooking.
It's a heating pad, yeah. And you set your casserole dishes on it.
Have you opened it yet?
I opened it.
I'm interested. Well,
and that's as far as I got.
Ask me this. Does it have is it like hot, warm, medium, high, or is it a dial of temperature in and you can set it, or?
I mean, I opened the box this morning.
Yeah. I'm interested. You going to use it this holiday season?
Heck yeah. I'm excited about it.
You can set your casseroles, your hash brown casserole, the mac and cheese, and everything on this mat.
That could be really useful. Yeah. I mean,
that's what I was thinking.
Why don't they just build that into a countertop?
Yeah.
Like you just hit it on your counter. Let's turn this on warm.
Quit working and you'd never get somebody to come and replace it. Yeah.
The mat's just easy. You can throw it on anything.
But you know how when you're setting up for Thanksgiving lunch or whatever, everybody brings their casseroles and sets them around, and then it takes 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and it sits there and gets cold. I like the idea of maybe
holding it a little warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
Like an electric chafing
dish. I prefer to eat my food warm as room temp.
Because, you have the chafing dishes and you can put the little sternos underneath it, but
nobody does that at home. I mean, it's one thing if you're doing an event where you're serving, it's some kind of dinner you're doing for something.
Yeah.
You want the chafing dishes and all that, but we're not busting those out to eat Thanksgiving at the house.
It's messy. It's too much.
Mm-hmm. You may need, the only thing I see is like, you're not going to get all of our stuff on one mat.
I'm going to need multiple mats.
You're going to need 12 foot of it. We got 3 counters we serve off of.
I'm going to give it a try. And if this works really well, then I might get a couple.
Get some more. Hey, that might be the hot Christmas gift of the season.
If it works, I'm buying everyone at the office one for Christmas.
Here's your casserole mat. Well, you pair that with a nice casserole dish or some cast iron.
There you go.
You know, maybe a handwritten recipe card to make something to go in it. Then you got a gift.
I'd love to get that.
Heck yeah.
So this week you dropped your first turkey video of the year.
I did. So we went into full Thanksgiving mode filming last week, and I did a whole 72-hour turkey. That's not how long I cooked it. When I decided to call it that, I was like, what are people going to think? Are they going to think I cooked this turkey for 72 hours? Or are they going to know it's the process?
It's the method.
It really, if I wanted to get technical with it, it probably takes, I don't even know how many hours that would be. What's another 5 days of thaw time on top of that? On top of that 72 hours, because
I'm going to have to do,
you had to do the math on that, yeah.
5 times 24?
Yep. Plus 72.
Plus 72. That brings us to 192-hour turkey.
That's 192-hour turkey. Now, if you got a fresh turkey, you're going to be able to knock a bunch of that off.
We can't
never buy them fresh. I always have to buy them froze.
We always make like a little graphic that says, start thawing your turkey this day, start brining it this day. And 17th was the first day for, a big turkey. And that's only a few days away.
Yeah, what are we, the 8th today?
Yeah.
Yeah, or 7th?
Yeah.
Recording this, so yeah, you're right. It's not 10 days. 10 days you'll be taking that turkey out of the big turkeys out of the fridge.
So it's not too early to start talking turkeys.
Not at all. But this turkey, what's so special about it is the 48-hour brine and the 20 hours in the refrigerator. That's where I'm getting my hours on this bird. So what I did, I always cook the 10 to 12 pounders.
Why?
If you wanted the best turkey size to cook is 10 to 12 pounds, because the leg and thigh portion, the dark meat, is proportionate to the size of the breast. And what that means is you're going to get even cooking across the white meat and across the dark meat. You're not going to have areas where your breast is dried out, not any good, and then you've got the dark meat just right or it's a little undercooked. You're not going to get that in a 10 to 12 pound bird. It just cooks even. So I started cooking those size turkeys, and I think they are the absolute best size to cook. And if you need a bigger bird, don't cook a 24 pounder, cook 2 12s. If you need a little more turkey, it's always easy to do that. Or a lot of times what I'll do, cook a whole turkey and then cook a turkey breast. Because you can buy those bone-in turkey breast are really good. But, if you want to splurge and get the expensive one, buy the ones like Kevin sells, the big giant turkey breasts that are boneless. That are boneless. They come with a skin on them, but you take that off anyway. So, but that's what I would do. Cook the 10 to 12 pounder. And so I take that 10 to 12 pound bird, and it takes it about 5 days to thaw out. I mean, I think this was a butterball.
It was.
Yeah. Cause you probably bought it at Walmart or Kroger.
I think it was Walmart.
But it was.
They all had plenty.
Yeah, they were. What were they, like 89 cents a pound or so? It wasn't that bad. Yeah. I looked at the tag on it. It was less than $12 for that whole turkey.
Yeah, they had them on sale.
Yeah, like 11 something.
When we had Kevin on last week, he said that he's got plenty of turkeys.
Yeah, you always hear rumors. This was early. This was in October, and I'd run into somebody that works in the industry, and he's like, "Oh, there's going to be a shortage on turkeys this year. You better get them early." But I've seen them.
I've seen them more this year than I have ever.
And normally when I do early turkey videos, I have trouble finding them, or we have to order them and ship them in because the stores just haven't stocked them yet. Because, turkey's not one of those things they have whole turkeys year round. They may have a few, but they don't have many. But this time of year, they got the middle bins cleared out. They got those big refrigerated opened units, and that's where they'll be just full of turkeys at your grocery store. So, and they are at ours now.
So how'd you brine this bird?
So after it thawed out for 5 days in the refrigerator, I took it out, pulled out the neck, pulled out the giblets.
Do you ever save those for anything?
No, because when I make giblet gravy, I don't even use that stuff. I use chicken breast or thighs or something, and I use chicken for my turkey gravy. I don't even use turkey parts. Some people do. I mean,
what technically is a giblet? Is it the organ?
The organs?
meat?
It's organs.
Okay.
Yeah, organs. So usually the liver's in there. There's probably a gizzard in there. There may be a heart, but it's that stuff. And
So are you really making giblet gravy if you're not using giblets?
no. I've made the original just to see if I liked it. And personally, I don't like it as much. I'm not a organ meat eater. It's not my cup of tea.
What'd you have recently that you really like? Was it fried gizzards or livers or?
No, I don't.
You were with Mikey and you said, oh, they were really good.
That was a while ago. They were.
You were just being nice.
Probably had a lot of them 12 ounces. To eat some gizzards and liver. Then I told you it was really good. Yeah, it's good. You better try it.
Yeah.
Anything's good after a bunch of Miller Lights.
Anyway.
But so you pull all that out of the turkey and I drop it down in one of our meat bags and I stick that inside of a briner bucket. You could use whatever you want, a big bowl of your wife's soup pot, whatever you want. You need a vessel big enough to hold that turkey and about 2 gallons worth of liquid to go in it to submerge it. It's got to stay completely submerged. Meat bag works great because it keeps things clean and you just dump it out. And I don't dump that stuff down the drain. I usually go outside and dump it somewhere. I don't know why. I just do.
I mean, you could dump it.
You could.
I don't know. The black peppercorns
Yeah, I
might mess up the disposal, but
I don't want to mess up the plumbing.
you know, when somebody gave you that brining bucket.
Brian Wesson gave me that.
Yeah.
Brian, I've had that for some years.
I know.
I use it every year. That's the only time I use it.
Yeah, but we've gotten so much use out of that brining bucket. You might only use it once or twice a year, but
I bet it's been 6 years since he gave it to me, and I use it every year. A bunch. Now, it gets used a bunch in November. It don't get much used throughout the rest of the year. It just stays on the shelf. But
you've used it for other stuff,
Yeah.
but rare.
But it's great for brining. It really is. And so I put and you don't have to put the meat bag in it, but you have to spend more time cleaning it if you do that. The meat bag just acts as a liner.
And it just kind of keeps everything nice and clean.
It's easier to keep a bird submerged with that meat bag because you can get all the air out and all you have is the liquid and whatever protein you have in it. That's why I do like it for that too. So besides clean up, keeping things, tidy, it's really an easy way to do it.
What if you do not have a brining bucket?
Just put it down in something, and you're going to need to make sure that bird can stay submerged, so you're going to put something on top of it a lot of times to hold it down in the water. But
back in the day, we used to get those meat bags.
They weren't meat bags. They were those Ziploc double XL storage, like for blankets and comforters and things like that.
They don't even make those anymore. I think you can get them on Amazon.
You can. You don't see them in the stores as much as you did.
They're kind of expensive, but you'd put that in there with the brine and then zip tie it tight.
Yeah.
Put it in a cooler with
ice packs.
Yeah.
Those ice packs or bags of ice or whatever. You have to watch putting too much ice on it because it's going to dilute your brine down. So it helps to have it in a bag or something like that and then keep it cold around it if you don't have room in your refrigerator. But the great thing about this brine bucket is it'll slide in the refrigerator. It doesn't take up, it takes up a pretty good bit of space, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's more of a height issue.
Yeah. If you pull a shelf out, we've got a beer fridge out in the garage that I just stick stuff in. It's great for that. Takes up my beer space. But so the brine is, I dropped the turkey in there, and I used a bottle of bird brine. I went pretty simple, but I wanted to do like a Southern classic, style. So I use sweet tea. Just 2 gallons. I've done it before.
Yeah.
2 gallons of sweet tea. And you think, oh man, that's going to be a weird flavor. No, it's not a weird flavor at all. It gives it a lot of moisture for one. I guess the sugar in the sweet tea also helps with the brining process, but you're not eating sweet turkey. It does not change, the tea does not change the flavor of it like that. But what it does do, the color of the tea stains the outside of that skin a little bit on the turkey. And I like that because it made it look golden brown. Like I got better color using that tea in the brine than I would if I would have just went straight water or anything like that. It gave it some color. So I'm wondering if when people started doing that years and years ago, they were doing oven roasted birds, if that was why it helped them brown up and helped them look pretty.
Yeah. Because you can't.
It's a good call.
Because you can't use coffee.
Yeah. I don't know what that'd be like. Hey, maybe I'll try that next year. Coffee brine turkey.
It'll get you going.
That's old crunk turkey there. But so once you get it submerged, and man, I didn't heat the tea up and dissolve the brine. I used to always cook my brine a little bit, thinking that the heat, and you're not bringing it to a boil for very long, but you're heating it up enough to dissolve that sugar and make that salt go into solution. But what I figured out is the longer I let it sit in there, it all goes to solution anyway. So if you wanted to stir it up, heat it up a little bit, you could. But when you do that, you got to make sure that temperature goes back down to, room temp or less, because you don't want to put anything warm on that turkey. And so I dumped the bottle of brine in, dumped 2 gallons of tea in, and then the bird's in there, easy peasy. Close the bag up, squeeze as much air as I can down tight. Now the brining bucket, what's cool about it is it's got this little insert that goes down in the bucket, and the bucket's kind of grooved to where you can take that in there and turn it, and it'll push down basically. And it's got these little ledges that lock it in place. So if you don't have a brine bag, you could just use that, and it's going to hold the turkey down and still let the brine get to it. It just keeps it submerged really easy. Put the lid on the thing and throw it in the refrigerator and start the clock, because you need 48 hours.
Could you do less?
Yeah. I mean, I've done a 12-hour brine. I think 2 hours is optimal. You're not really getting 2 days is optimal. You're not really getting any extra after 48 hours, I don't think. I've never put the clock to it to see if a 36-hour was better than a 12, better for, whatever.
I don't think you've ever done a 36-hour.
There's been times where I'll brine it and I may not cook it that day, so I cook it the next day or something. So that would have been time. But 48 hours is really, really optimal. And especially for, larger size pieces of meat or protein. A bigger turkey, like a big 20-pound turkey, you definitely need to go 48 hours with him. But a 10 to 12 pounder, usually, 24 minimum, but 48, it'll be the best. So after 48 hours, we take the turkey out of the brine, and I don't rinse it off in the sink or anything like that. I use paper towel. I get me a little baking sheet and put foil over it to help keep it clean. Put me a raised rack, like a pork rack in there, set it on there, and take the turkey, let everything drip back in the in the bag, and then move it over to that rack and start patting it with paper towel.
And it drips in the pan?
Yeah, and it drips in the pan. It gets away from the skin. And so this is drying the skin out is what I'm trying to do. So the best way to get it really, really dry is get it in a cool environment that has a little bit of moving air. It's exposed to the air, and that's what the refrigerator does to you. So I stick it in there overnight. It was about 20 hours that it stayed on that drying rack. Nothing on it. I just patted the skin dry. If there's any excess herbs or peppercorns, I try to pick them off, but I don't get crazy with it. And then I stick a bunch of paper towel in the cavity, because that's where the moisture is going to accumulate once you're setting it in there. And you want to get that out too. It doesn't have to be perfectly dry in the cavity, but you want to get as much excess moisture away from it as you can. And after it sits in that refrigerator, you can definitely tell a difference in the skin. It has, it's gotten kind of not tight.
Yeah, it tightens up a little.
It's dried up. I mean, it's not pretty. This one was a little stained, so it looked like it had some color on it because of the tea. But it doesn't really, you're not doing anything in the cooker process or anything. You haven't put it on any heat. But it's ready to accept some fat on that skin now, and then you're seasoning, and that's what's going to help it brown, help it get crispy on you. You're going to get really good edible skin, and, when you slice it up, it's phenomenal. People want to eat that as much as they do the meat because it tastes good, tastes really good. And if you want to be a showstopper turkey, you got to take care of that skin. You don't want your skin to bust. You want it to look really, really good.
Do you think drying it helps prevent the skin from busting?
I think it does, putting the fat back on it too.
Okay.
But
because I noticed this skin didn't have
I think it just helps. I really think it helps it render faster because it's dry on the outside. And then that helps it want to promote and get a little, once that fat can cook on that under layer of the skin, that's what helps you get it crispy. It doesn't stay soggy. You're not having to get rid of that excess moisture before you ever get to the fat itself. And that's what you end up having to do. If you cook a wet bird, it's got to dry that moisture first before it can ever dry the skin out to get crispy.
That makes sense.
So, and I've seen some people, they'll just, put a binder, put something all over them, not a fat. Or they'll take it right out of a brine and inject it up, and all the ejections coming back out, and they'll try to throw some seasoning on it and put it on the pit. That makes an ugly bird. It's good. I mean, it's probably good eating, and it's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't look as good. You're not getting that Norman Rockwell when everybody thinks of that centerpiece turkey and everybody's around it, and the dad's up there with his big fork and the carving knife. You're not getting that looking turkey.
Yeah. It's usually splotchy.
Yeah, it gets real splotchy. It doesn't get even. And that goes back to your seasoning you put on it too. Now for this one, once I had that skin dry, so it brined for 48 hours. It air dried in the refrigerator for 20 hours. What was that, 68 hours, something like that? So now we've got, for 72, we got another 4 hours to cook it. So what I typically do is set it out on the counter, get the paper, don't forget the paper towel that's inside the cavity, take that out, and then I always put some mass back in that cavity because that's a big void. And it's just room for air to sit, and it's going to take longer for it to cook if you don't put something in there to help take up some of that space. And when you take up some of that space, it starts giving off heat, and it makes the meat cook evenly from inside the turkey. That's what it does. So you can put anything in there. If you wanted to stuff it, though, with stuffing, go ahead. I don't like doing that. I want my dressing on the side, and on the inside, I'm using vegetables and herbs and stuff that's going to give me flavor to that inside meat.
So normally you use like maybe quartered onions and big chunks of vegetables. And I've seen you use apples and lemons and different things like that, but it's always a larger chunk that you stuff it with. This time you did like a dice.
I was trying something different. I've never done it, but I would definitely do it again. It was easy.
Yeah.
And I just used a mirepoix, celery, onion, carrot. And then I bought a little clamshell of poultry herbs, which was rosemary, sage, and thyme. And so I put those in there, and that's about it. I didn't get anything else with it, but I always tie the legs up with some butcher twine to try to hold everything in. And then I tuck the wings back underneath like he's got his hands behind his head, like he's laying out there trying to catch suntan, And after
the way he should be.
The way he should be. That's what he's fixing to do. He's going to get tan and beautiful. I don't know if it's a he or a her. For some reason, I think of them as he's. I guess that's because I shoot the male turkeys, but we don't cook the hens. But this might have been a big old hen. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a good question. What supermarket turkeys? What sex are they?
Do you want me to Google it real quick?
No, it's no big deal. But anyway, once I get it tied up, it's time to put my seasoning on it. And so I've got the skin as dry as I can get it. I take cooking spray.
Hold on.
Which is just the simple.
Hold on.
Okay, you got something for us? What'd you find out about?
Supermarket turkeys are usually hens or toms, and the main difference between the two is their size.
So your big 20-pounders are?
But most are hens, especially the smaller ones.
Yeah. So the 10 to 12s are probably hens. Maybe that's why they taste better. They haven't been working as hard.
That's another thing.
They don't gobble.
It's like a veal turkey when you get them that little.
Yeah. That's another thing. Smaller animals typically taste better in the species,
Anyway, so where were we at?
So we're ready to doctor that skin.
Okay.
Now, I got a dry skin, but I want to get it to where it's going to brown up, it's going to get crispy, and it's going to have flavor. To do that, I need a fat on it. Now, I take the easy way. I use Pam cooking spray. You could use whatever kind of cooking spray you want. You could use duck fat. You could brush it with oil.
You've done one where you use peanut oil.
Peanut oil, yeah. I've done it all.
Can you tell a difference?
No. Cooking spray works fine, just fine.
And it's easy.
I've done the melted butter. What I don't like about the melted butter is the turkey's usually cool. So it kind of like solidifies. Yeah, it solidifies on the outside skin. Doesn't look good. I mean, it's going to melt when it gets in some heat, but it could be splotchy. And I don't want that. So that's why I like something that's aerosolized so I can control it. And all I do is spray the entire skin down. And then when I think about seasoning, what did I want on this turkey? Well, I was going with more of a traditional flavor. So I really just needed salt and pepper, a little garlic. That's all I wanted on it. So I went with AP. But this is where if you want to do a barbecue turkey, hey, you could use a barbecue rub. If you want to do a Cajun turkey, use some Cajun seasoning. If you want to, whatever flavor you wanted on there, that's the time where you put that seasoning on it. Just know that you want to put something kind of fine. That way it has a good look to it. Because if you go, a lot of times I've went barbecue rub. If you have to touch it a lot, it's going to get splotchy again. And I don't want that. I wanted that beautiful look.
And
if I see some herbs and, stuff and, if you put something with some texture in it, like some TX or something, that's fine. That's going to be fine. But you just don't want it to be splotchy and look a calico turkey.
And like the top part gets a good coverage of rub, but like the edges don't because,
right.
It's difficult to get all those angles with the same layer. So it kind of looks weird when it's cooked. In
past videos, I've even had we'll put the camera on a tripod and you would hold the turkey and kind of rotate it so I could get a good even on it. But this time it did fine. If you use something like AP or a lot of times I've used like salt, garlic, and a little poultry herb in it, those do fine because the seasoning's all pretty similar size and it's got a decent color. It's not anything out of the box.
Yeah.
So it just gives you a prettier skin. But the whole thing is I want aesthetics and I wanted some savoriness on that skin. That's what the AP would give me.
Because really, your flavor's coming from your brine mostly, right? And your smoke.
Yeah. The brine's getting it on the inside. It's making that meat juicy and moist. And then it's giving it, it's giving it some flavor, but it's not super strong. But the seasoning on the outside is where you're going to get a lot of that flavor too on the skin. I want that skin to taste really good.
Do you think if you 48-hour brine a turkey, you need to inject too?
I don't think you have to. I don't think I would have gained anything from injecting it because it was sopping.
The flavor was all
and
the way
it was had so much moisture in it. The flavor was through and through.
So do you ever think, because you've done it in the past, you've done it all different kinds of ways, but do you ever think that brining and injecting is the way to go, or would you do one or the other?
For our Thanksgiving turkey, typically I'll do a 24-hour brine, just use water and bird brine, and then I would inject it with the Creole butter. And I might make that, or I might buy like Tony's Cajun injection or something like that, or one of the other Creole butters that's out this time of year. And I'll put that back in there for some added richness and a little more fortified flavor. I don't know if it's any better though. Because after I did this one, I was like, man, this is about as juicy as you can get a turkey. And the flavor was there, and it was just, I don't know if it's because that was the first turkey I've had in 24. It really was. And I know Tyler tried it. Todd tried it. I don't know if you tried any that day. Mark
I tried it that afternoon.
They were down at the farm, and it was like, wow, that's phenomenal turkey.
It was about the juiciest
So
turkey.
good, yeah.
So good.
So, but once I get it seasoned, it's time to fire the pit up. We're probably I got 4 hours to go. That probably took about 15, 20 minutes. So typically what I do before I start seasoning, I'll go ahead and turn my grill on, whatever grill I'm cooking on. And y'all know, for me, Pellet Grill cooks probably the best smoked turkey.
Especially when you talk aesthetic.
It's not going to be overly smoked. It's going to cook it at a really, really even rate. And you are going to get some smoke flavor from it, but it moves enough air to where that skin can dry out. It can render the skin and it can turn it golden brown. And that's hard to do on some smokers that aren't moving a lot of air. And that has to do with the airflow on a pellet grill. And I love cooking my turkeys on a pellet grill.
Same reason we cook chicken wings on a pellet grill.
Yeah. Now, if I was cooking boneless, skinless breast, oh man, put them on a stick burner, put them on drum, you're going to get some better flavor. The pellet grill can't give you the flavor, but I'm not trying to get that intense flavor on my big bird.
You want a light.
Yeah, I want a light smoke. And that's why cooking at 350, that's another thing. I set that grill to 350 degrees, and so man, that's
pretty hot.
You're not even smoking. You might as well be cooking in the oven. Well, the oven cannot cook a turkey like that pellet grill can. It can't do it. And it's just oven roasted. So it's basically, this is a wood pellet smoke roasted turkey. It kind of is, I guess. But but I just I love the way it does the skin, and it cooks that turkey perfect, and it's got the right amount of smoke flavor.
It's always pretty.
It's always pretty.
One thing that you do that I think is a good tip is put it on a rack.
Yeah. I like leaving it on that rack too. So that same rack that it was on from, sitting in the refrigerator, you could use that same one and go right to the grill with it if you wanted to. I think I'd move this one to a chicken rack, a little smaller rack. Just because as long as the turkey sits on it, it's fine. But what it does, I pick up the rack instead of touching the bird. So it's not going to mess up my skin. And you notice everything I say is about the skin, because I want it to look good. And if I touch it, I can't reseason those. It's too hard to reseason the sides where your fingers go. If you mess up and touch it, you'll never get that to look right.
And sometimes you got to rotate it during the cook.
And it's easy to spin it on that rack than it is picking that bird up and rotating him. I mean, it's really easy. And it's easy to get them off. And then when I go to rest it, I can just set that on a little pan and let it sit there and hang out. The juices are going in the pan. It's not making a mess. It makes sense to me. But I took the turkey, rack and all, set it on that 350-degree pit. I got about 3.5 hours left for my 72. It's about how long it takes. I think this bird cooked in just a little over, right at 3, wasn't it?
A little over 3, yeah.
I made 305, 310, something like that. And you know what that did? It gave me my rest time. Because the cooking part's easy.
Yeah.
All I did, like I put it on the grill, about an hour in, I went and looked at it, skin's starting to look good. I spun it, and then I stuck a probe in the deepest part of the breast. And then I usually come back and check on it about the 2-hour mark too. I'm looking for 160 internal in the breast, but once it starts, the skin starts looking like it's drying out, starting to get that real pretty color, I'll keep an eye on it because that's when I want to spray it with butter.
Why don't you start spraying it with butter before the skin dries out?
Because you got to get that, you want to get that off of it first. It's got to,
Okay.
You want it to dry out. It's like when we do ribs. We wanted the ribs to slick off and to dry out in the smoke, and then you start spritzing them a little bit to keep them moist so they don't get too dark. Thinking the same thing with the turkey. So I'm letting it dry itself out and start getting tight, start browning up, starting to look really good. Then I come back with a little butter spray, and that's going to help it push it over the top. It's going to moisten it back up a little bit. That butter's going to heat up. It's going to make it rich, and then it's going to make it fry a little bit.
Yeah.
It browns, and that's what makes it really pretty. And I cheat. I cheat here too. Buy the Parquet and the pump spray.
Blue bottle, magic blue bottle.
You could melt butter, and you could probably get it to go through a spray bottle.
They have those.
Yeah,
I've
butter
seen 'em.
spray bottle.
I've
And
almost bought them on Amazon.
would that be better? Probably so. Probably would. If you use the real $high butter and you melt it and you spritz it like that, I bet it'd be fantastic. But I'm going to eat. Once again, I'm trying to make it easy on you. And that's why I just buy the blue Parquet.
And you've done this before in the past where you melted butter and had a basting brush
Yeah, and drizzled it.
and drizzled it.
Don't brush it, though, because when you brush it, you're going to mess up the looks of it. You got to let that butter run. Yep. And so after that, that's usually that last hour. About the 3-hour mark, it's getting to the finish line. Once I see 160, and I'm going to verify it always, I'm going to take my Thermopin, and I'm probably going to check the other breast, and I'm probably going to check the dark meat in the thigh. And if I see
Are you looking for anything specific in the dark meat?
I really want it to be 170. But if it's like 168, right in there, almost 170, it's going to go ahead and carry over. And it's going to finish close to 175 because I know that I'm giving my turkey a rest. And at this point, when that temp hits and I see 160 in the breast and my dark meat's where I want it, I take it off the pit and I just let it sit uncovered. It needs about 20 minutes. And you can leave your probe in if you want to watch the temperature climb up. It's going to go about 5 to 7 degrees. I don't know if it'd go much higher than that, but I always see like 5 to 7 degrees.
So it's hitting that 165.
Oh, yeah. It's perfect. And I think that just lets it calm down. It's like, you're letting those juices they're all pushed out to the surface from the heat trying to escape. When the heat quits pushing on them, they go, oh, everything's good. Let's just calm down. The juice gets juicier. And that's like, if you got to drive that turkey somewhere.
I was fixing to ask.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be scared. Now, I'd probably have to put some full over it or something, which that sucks because once you cover it and there's heat on it, it's going to steam, and all that work that you did to get that skin really, really good is going to go down the drain.
It's still going to be okay.
It's going to be good. It's not going to be the best.
Yeah, it's not going to be as crispy.
Yep. It's not going to be as crispy. You're not going to get that, that really, really good bite. I mean, it's still tender. It's just.
So how would you transport that turkey? You get it off the grill.
I'd let it sit
You're
a little
fixing to
bit.
go right across
I'd let
town.
the most of the heat get off of it. I mean, I'm not sitting there letting it cool down to like 140 or nothing, but I'm going to let it slow down a little bit, and then I'm going to put it in a cooler, put a little foil over it loosely, tin it up good where it ain't touching, drop it down in a dry cooler, and haul butt.
Get there as quick as possible.
Get that foil off of it and cut it up. How to Barbecue Right podcast is brought to you by our friends at Primo Grills. Chelle, did you know that Primo is the only ceramic grill made right here in the good old USA?
What? Are you telling me that Primo Grills are proudly crafted here in the USA, ensuring top-notch quality and support for local craftsmanship?
I sure am. Plus, Primo Grill not only delivers mouth-watering flavor, but because of their innovative oval design and superior ceramic construction, Primo Grills also gives you a ton of cooking versatility.
Whether you're smoking low and slow or searing a steak to perfection, Primo Grills gives you the consistent heat distribution for mouth-watering results every time.
What she said, y'all. Y'all visit primogrill.com and check them out.
So how do you slice?
So I'm not a professional turkey carver, but I've cut my share of birds. And so I start with taking the legs off at the joints, I leave the thighs on, take the drumsticks off, set them to the side, take the wings off. You can take them off whole, or you can join it at the flat. Take it off.
Those wings off that turkey were
fire.
They were really good.
They were so good. The skin was right. It was like eating a big, hot wing or something. Not without hot sauce, but
it was
just a good wing.
It was crispy. It was seasoned. It was
really
juicy.
Good. Then once I get the wings off and the legs off, I'm going for the breast. I'm trying to take both halves off in one big piece. So what I do, you start at that middle line where that middle bone is, the breastbone. You stay just right to the side of it, and I kind of start a cut right down the middle, and I start feeling for it. You can feel that kind of gristle, that cartilage in that bone, and you just stay to the left of it and go straight down. And I take my knife out of the turkey and come back right above where that wing was and come in horizontal all the way back till I feel bone. And then you can kind of pull it back a little bit and just take your knife and fillet the rest off, and it comes off in one big lobe. So you have two perfectly skin-on turkey breast, and then you cross them. You can thick as thin as you want. You can skew the knife a little to give you a little length a little height in the slices, but I cut it always across. Never, with the length of the turkey. It's always across the turkey instead of up and down it. If that makes, I don't know how to describe it.
Is that like across the grain?
Yes, it would be across the grain, and I cut it into slices, leaving skin wrapped on each slice. And that's what's really, really good. And that's usually the pieces people go for first. And then I come back. If I missed any, sometimes in that wishbone area, you can get some more pieces of breast out of there. You can carve in deep and get those out.
Those are usually like soft and tender.
Yeah, and those are usually my pieces. I got to make sure the turkey's good. We're not going to put them out to platter. We'll keep them to the side for anybody's in there helping.
Those never make it to the platter.
And then I take the thighs off. And I usually just it turns into more like, you can't really slice, or I don't know how to slice them really good. It's more of almost like a pulled turkey. I mean, I use my knife to do it, but I just cut down the bone, and then I kind of debone that, and then cut that into what I think would be a piece of turkey I'd want to put on my plate. And I put those over there. So I've got, two breasts sliced in the middle. I've got my dark meat behind that, and I've got my legs on the side, and I've got my wings on there, and it just gives it a really good presentation for your platter when you get ready to carve it. And I don't know if that's, the proper way or not. That's how I do it at my house.
So let me ask you, what is the number one thing that you have learned from all the turkeys you've cooked this year or over the years?
Over the years.
Not this year. What is like the number one thing that you do now that you maybe used to not do, but you will always do?
So that's going to be crank the temp up. When I started smoking turkeys, I was like, let's keep them down around 225.
Really?
Let's keep them low. Let's get them smoky. And then I was always wondering, man, why is it taking 6 hours to smoke a turkey? Why is it, why is my skin just like rubber? And then cooking competition chicken got me to raising the temperature on my turkeys, because I started figuring out when we started doing really good in chicken, we were cooking it at 300, 325. And so I just kind of got to the 350 on the turkey. Now, because I like to cook them in 3 hours. For a 10 to 12 pound bird, I like to be a 3-hour cook. I think it's just the best. And so to get that, I had to go up to 350. With 325, it was taking 4 hours, it's a little bit longer. And so I was like, well, we'll bump it a little bit and see how it does. And that's how I got there. So
do you feel like
the cooking temperature is what I think changed the way I cook them.
Do you think that a bird cooked at 250, and we're not talking time at all, and we're not talking skin at all, do you think there's any difference in the meat?
No.
And the flavor?
Nope. I don't. Not with all I do to it. Turkey's so neutral. It's a blank canvas anyway. So it's going to take on the flavor of the brine, the injection you use in it, the little bit of smoke you put on it, or the lot of bit if you put a lot on it at lower temps. And then it's going to take on the seasoning on the outside. And so really for you to taste the seasoning, to get any advantage of the seasoning on the outside, you need to eat the skin. Well, at lower temps, that skin sucks. It never gets right. And I think that's why people like deep fried turkey.
Yeah.
Because the skin's crispy.
But my problem with deep fried turkey is the flavors.
Oh, it dries out.
A little bland.
Yeah, it's not. You can inject them and you can try to make them juicy, but they're never. A deep fried turkey just is never as juicy as a smoked turkey. And the dark meat in the deep fried turkey, I don't like it at all. It just, it's overcooked. It's usually dry, and dark meat's not supposed to be dry. Like when you do a smoked turkey, the dark meat turns into almost like ham. And it's phenomenal. Like the whole bird, people eat the whole bird. They even want to eat the back meat. Like, where's the carcass at? Let me pick the meat off the back. I mean, how many times do you do that with a fried turkey or just a regular oven roasted turkey?
And there ain't nothing wrong with fried turkey.
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
There's a lot of people that love
I'll tell
them.
you, I did one, was that 2 years ago?
Smoker fried?
Yeah. God, that smoker fried turkey was awesome.
Yeah. But you only fried it at the very end.
Just to crisp it up.
Yeah, just to crisp it.
It wasn't long at all. I mean, I would do that all the time, but it's just not worth the effort of getting that big pot of grease hot
for 10 minutes.
To do 10 minutes on one turkey. If I was going to do a bunch of them, I'd probably do the smoker fried, just because if you were going somewhere and you had the ways to access to a turkey fryer at the place you were going.
So you smoke it at home.
Smoke it at home, take it to the place and heat it up.
Just drop it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
Just tell them to get the grease hot.
But try the 72-hour brine and try drying it out, or the 48-hour brine and try drying it out overnight, and see if that don't make your turkey better.
I was eating the turkey, the leftovers, and on chicken, dark meat's my favorite. And I don't really care much about the breast because it's usually dry and bland.
You don't eat white meat very often.
But unless they fried it and put it on a sandwich. But turkey, I like the white meat better than the dark meat on turkey.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Turkey breast is phenomenal.
Yeah.
When it's still juicy and tender.
And it might just be the way you do it. I don't know.
I'm sure. I mean, it's not hard. It's not hard to do. It's not really hard. If you follow those steps, you're going to cook a perfect turkey every time.
So on the community, I got a lot of stuff for you on the community, but Jason, he's from South Louisiana. He was asking about stuffed turkey rolls. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm. What's a stuffed turkey roll?
Basically, it's turkey breasts that they butterfly. I'd never heard of
like
it
turkey
either.
roll-ups, basically?
I guess.
Yeah.
They called them rolls, stuffed turkey rolls. But they butterfly the turkey breast and I saw them put boudin in some, stuffing, other things, and then they kind of roll it up and cook it. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's good. It sounds good. It sounds really good.
I was thinking,
man, a boudin stuffed turkey breast,
and then wrap it in bacon.
I've made Cajun turkey where I filled the whole cavity up with boudin, and it's really good.
I like the boudin afterward too.
Yeah, the boudin's good. That sounds really good. Turkey roll.
Yeah, but I'd never heard of that, and I guess it's a thing down there.
Yeah.
They give them as gifts and things like that.
I'm gonna have to check that out. It's kind of like the turducken.
Kind of.
Yeah.
A lot.
Stuff it with other stuff and wrap it up.
But I've
cooked a turducken.
Recipe.
Or mini turduckens. Use the breast for that.
You did a boneless one.
Yeah. Boneless. It was boneless turkey, boneless chicken, and boneless duck breast. All breast, I think it was. And I kind of did that. I layered it, stuffed them with the boudin, rolled it all up, and it was good.
It was really good. Did you bacon wrap that one? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I
don't remember. It's been a while since I did it.
But so Dan posted a picture. His local butcher shop has a vending machine outside.
Is that the meat vending machine?
Yeah. Did you see that picture?
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
So you can go by at midnight, buy you a steak, I guess. I guess it's refrigerated.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of choice ribeyes and strips. And
That's
stuff
a
like
good
that.
idea.
And I was like, I could see myself on my way home.
Yeah.
You couldn't set that around the Memphis area. That's just a gold mine. Take that whole machine. I got all the steaks.
Eating good.
Knock
tonight.
the glass out. You got them.
Yeah, it didn't look very secure. What happens when you spend your $40 and it gets caught?
Oh, you're shaking the crap out of it. You talking about donkey kicking it? Shaking it?
I did notice it was all choice. There was no prime.
Yeah.
I love that idea, though.
Okay, so Russell had a question. If I smoke, say, 20 turkey breasts, how can I hold them for a later pickup? I have a warmer oven, but I'm afraid to dry them out.
I would put them in a dry cooler. It depends on what time you're buying yourself.
How long?
That's a lot of mass to put down in I'm talking about like one of the big igloos, or probably wouldn't put it in a big Yeti. It's going to hold it really, really hot. You prop the lid open some, it'd be all right. But I use those. It's like the marine grade cooler from Sam's. It's like the big white igloo. I think it is a Coleman or Igloo. I don't remember what brand it is, but they're big coolers, 100 quarts, and they'll hold a ton. And with them, I would either, like for pickup, probably going to wrap them in full individually then put them down in an aluminum pan and put foil over that. And you can stack that in the cooler, or you could just have them wrapped. And when the people got there to pick them up, you could do them individually and pass them out that way. But you're going to get 3 to 4 hours holding them in that cooler. They'll be fine.
And you don't have the skin to worry about.
No, I'd take them off at 160, let them cool off just a little bit, start coming back down, give them 30 minutes, and then get them in that cooler, and they're going to hold fine. I'd come by and burp that cooler about every 30 minutes too, to let some of that heat out, because it's going to be really, really hot. But I wouldn't want to hold them in the oven because they're going to continue to cook. Unless your oven can go down really, really low, I would say well below 140, because they're going to be hot. And when they get below 140, you're supposed to keep them at 140, or you got 4 hours before they need to be refrigerated all the way or consumed. So you are working on time, but I wouldn't be scared to hold them.
Would you?
I've held whole turkeys like just the same way.
Would you put anything in the wrap before you wrapped them and throw them in a cooler?
You know what? It wouldn't be a bad idea. Set them on a little bit of, set them on a few pats of butter when you put them down in there, and let that make some, because what it's going to do, you're going to lose some moisture out of that breast when you wrap it up. And the heat's going to be hot enough to melt the butter. So you're just making this buttery turkey au jus in the wrap. And then when the people slice it, you can tell them, save that juice, slice your bird, and then brush that.
Run it back through.
Yeah, run it back through that juice, and you're going to have a moist, juicy turkey.
At the very least, they're going to open it up and be like, oh my God, this is the juiciest.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all.
So we had a lot of brisket questions this week.
Everybody's cooking brisket. Are they thinking about brisket for the holidays? Is that what it is?
I think they're just enjoying briskets. Tom?
I enjoy the heck.
Well, you hadn't cooked a brisket in a minute.
It's been a minute, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to tell me something?
That's what I'm saying.
Kevin.
It's
Chelle says I need to cook some brisket.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So Tom, he's getting ready to smoke his first brisket on a Rectech. It's 14.5 pounds, and he's scared to death.
Before it's 14.5, so he's going to trim it some. He's probably going to get it down to about 11.
He plans on going fat side down at 250.
Sounds like a plan. I might start it off even a little bit lower, 225, just to give me some smoke on it for 4 or 5 hours, and then put it on 250 and let it roll.
And then how long is he looking?
I would probably cook it. I mean, I don't cook by time. It's by temperature. But you're going to be, if that brisket trims down to 11 or 12 pounds, give yourself 12 to 13 hours plus a rest. So I'd probably go ahead and give myself 16 hours total. And then if he keeps it at 250, I'm going to wrap it when it gets to about 170 degrees. Put me a little beef broth in there, maybe re-season it just a little bit. If you got a little, if you got a little favorite brisket sauce you like, mix that with some of the beef broth, get some moisture in there, wrap it up tight, stick a probe in it, and let that dude roll. If it's a choice grade brisket, I'd probably take it off about 202. And I'd just be watching it, because it's going to hit a stall, but it's going to be hit a stall about that 170. And if you didn't cover it, I would say you better give yourself almost 20 hours. But since we're going to wrap it up, that's going to speed the process up a little bit. But I'm watching I'm watching that probe temp, and when I start seeing it get to 190, I'll be watching it and seeing how fast they click off. It's probably going to get up to 195 pretty quick. And then once it starts going, it'll start slowing down. And then once you get a pretty good pause in that, once it gets to 198 to 199, 200, that it shouldn't be clicking those off very fast. If it is, you need to keep going. But once you start noticing a pretty good pause in those degrees it's ticking up, that's when you want to get it off. It's usually going to be right about 202. And then I would go ahead and feel it. I'd probably vent the foil a little bit, check, see what it feels like. If it's super soft, the point's going to be soft, but the flat's what you want to really feel. That's where you need to get it. It needs to be no resistance almost. And then I would let it rest a few minutes on the cutting board toward it vent. And then I'd stick it in a dry cooler and go 2 hours. And then slice that dude up and enjoy it.
Or you could go longer. If you
could go a little bit longer. You can go a little bit longer, yeah. 2 hours minimum. I wouldn't be scared to go up to 6.
Well, Josh was in the process of cooking his first brisket and wanted to know how long is the stall.
It depends. All the briskets are different. Depends on what temp you're cooking out. Depends on how big the brisket is. Depends on the quality of the brisket. Because you're trying to render that last bit of fat before it all lets go. That's what's happening there.
So what is the stall?
It's just a point to where, so when when meat starts breaking down, it's got a moisture point to where it's going to get to, and it's building up. Well, as that heat gets there and it holds it in there, it's holding on as long as it can. That's the stall part. Eventually it lets go, and that's when it just goes to melting. And everything, you've rendered everything there is to render out of it after that stall. It's all let go. The protein fibers have really, really broke down. They've given you everything they've had, but they hold on there at the last minute to get that, evaporative cooling, getting the moisture away from the brisket as much as it can. And that's what it is. It's that last bit of hold on.
So it's the last little resistant.
Yeah.
Before you hit delicious.
Before you hit deliciousness. Before you, texture-wise. Because that brisket's done. I mean, technically, you could probably eat it about 120, 125, you think of rare if you wanted to. You ain't going to be able to chew it, but it would be safe to swallow. But to get the right texture on it, that's what takes so long, and that's what you have to learn to do, and taking it up to 200 degrees internal and breaks it down.
So Chad
renders it useless. It's just ready to eat. It couldn't be a brisket no more.
So Chad is gonna smoke a brisket and take it to a Christmas party and serve it there. He said in his experience, brisket dries out after it's sliced.
Absolutely.
Is there a good way to slice and pack the brisket prior to transporting it to the party, or should he take it to the party and just slice it there?
Take it and slice it. It's going to give you a little more rest time. It's going to make it better. If you absolutely have to slice it at home and you have access to a vacuum sealer, I would save a little bit of the liquid from the renderings. I would put that in the package with the slices. Once you get it sliced, put some of that au jus in there, the liquid, the brisket drippings, the juice, and then vacuum seal it up, get it completely air free. You don't have to suck it down tight as you can.
Even hot?
I'm not going to let it get stone cold. It'll still seal. I'm not trying to seal it for long-term storage at this point.
No, but I'm saying he's going to be slicing it hot, trying to take it to a party hot.
It's going to cool off fast once you slice it. I've never met one that stayed piping hot for very long.
So you'd vacuum seal it hot.
Yeah. By the time you get it all sliced and then you get it in your vacuum seal bags, it's probably going to be cooled down tremendously, And then you pour some of that. I wouldn't pour the juice in screaming hot either. It needs to be cooled down some, but that's going to be the best. The best way to slice it there. That's my next alternative. The next one would be, I guess, just Ziploc bag it and hope. Put it in a pan, save you some juice, warm your juice up when you get there. Run the slices back through it before you serve it. Maybe brush them with a little bit. I don't like to serve brisket floating in juice. It just doesn't look good. But you can always have some on the ready to moisten it, keep it moist,
Or put it in a little bowl beside it and let.
The best way to serve brisket is stand there at the cutting board and slice it off as the plates come by. But how many people are going to do that at home? If you're at an event, it's easy to set up a little carving station and do it.
Yeah, but you don't want to spend the party slicing brisket.
Yeah.
You might. I could see you enjoying that. You'd be passing out beers, slicing brisket.
Let me make you a cocktail. Slice fatty or lean? Which one do you like?
So this is an interesting question. Edward started a fire in his Weber, used Kingsford and a Vortex. Everything was going pretty good, but when he put his grate on, the flame started turning green. Any idea what that would be?
It's that Special K charcoal. No, I really don't know. Something sounds like something burning off, like something might have been on the grate. Usually when you see that, what changes those colors? Ink or I don't know. I've seen some of those. Like we bought Michael some of these things you burn and they change colors as they burn. They got something in there to make it do it. I don't know what it is.
Chemicals.
It's got I would definitely say it's chemical.
Safe to use?
I wouldn't cook over some green flames.
How
blue
green
flames hot. Yeah, is it just hot? Like, is it really kind of blue? Because sometimes you will see, sometimes you get a blue flame. But if it's like bright green, that seems like that's ink or something like that. Maybe something was on the Vortex part of the label. Maybe something I don't know. It should have burned off pretty quick.
Yeah,
then it'd have been safe. If it stayed green, I don't know what it was.
Just close that lid and find something else to cook on.
I wouldn't close the lid. Oh, you mean if it stayed green? I would bet something burned off. So it was burning something off, and it could have been some kind of chemical. It's the only time I've ever seen green colored flame.
James, he said, instead of wrapping ribs like normal, can you put them in a disposable pan and cover it tightly?
I've seen people do it. Don't recommend it. I don't think you get I don't think you get the heat trapped around them as much. They're usually just kind of floating in some liquid at that point. You don't have, the full's not super tight. I mean, it's closed off. It'd be like having them in a pot or something, a roaster. I think having it wrapped tighter makes them break down a little better and a little easier. They're not braised as much as they are, cooked and rendered. They're more braised when you're cooking them with that much airspace in there. You got a lot of air trapped. What I have seen people do too, though, is stack ribs. Like in a large size aluminum pan, if that rib's trimmed down a little, you can get up to 6 slabs in there, 3 and 3, and they'll stack them, pour a little liquid in there, cover the pan, start, rendering them, start breaking them down, then come back, open them up, move them around because it never fails. Those ones that are on the bottom are the ones that are rendering the most. That's the ones that's going to fall apart on you. So they need to be rearranged. But I've seen it before.
That's more of a catering restaurant type setting. So Colleen smoked a butt. She smoked a butt for a party the next day, but she was planning on rewarming it the next day. Well, she had all the juice, all the pork juice dripping. She was wondering, should she save it, reheat it, use it?
So what you can do is you can take it and let it cool down and let the fat come to the top and get the fat off.
Definitely
Once you defat it, I would probably warm it up a little bit and taste it and see, because a lot of times, it might have strong flavor you don't want. It might have picked up too much smoke. A lot of things can happen to the flavor of that liquid, especially if it was exposed to smoke. But it might not taste like you think it's going to taste. If it tastes fine and it's rich and delicious, hey, I'd use it. But if it's often not, I'd never save it. I mean,
my thing is chicken juices. I will save those and I'll run it through, like, especially if I'm pulling chicken, definitely. Beef.
All day long.
Mm-hmm. Pork.
It's not so much.
I've never had a good experience with pork dripping.
Yeah. They're just, I don't know. It's something about it. It doesn't taste.
I don't know.
It doesn't have a pleasant taste usually.
I feel like I've ruined stuff before trying to add those pork drippings back to the meat, because it almost gave it like a wanginess or something.
It really depends on what's in the wrap too. If you've injected it, some of that's going to cook out. If you're going to have different flavors in there. If it's just like I cooked a butt, all I did was wrap it halfway, nothing else in there. When I pull one, I'm going to put some of that liquid back in there every time, just because it's rendered fat. That's all it is, and it's fine. But I wouldn't use it like the next day. I don't know how it's going to taste.
Yeah,
it tastes fine, and I usually do taste it to make sure. But usually it's pretty good. At the moment, I've never done it like tried to hold it in a cup and use it the next day.
Yeah, I have for beef.
Yeah, you could easily mix you up your own little au jus, like a pork au jus. You can buy. What's it, ham-based seasoning, what we used to buy, and you could mix it with a little water and doctor it up. If you want to I'd add a little barbecue sauce or vinegar sauce to it. Just make it taste really good. I'd heat that up and mix with my pulled pork if I needed some more moisture on it.
We've done apple juice before.
Yeah,
We've done just sauce, barbecue sauce before.
Sauce, yeah.
And if you go light on the sauce, people just think it's all, it's just juicy. They don't even realize it's sauce.
You don't realize you've pre-sauced it. Yep.
So this is a fun question. Ryan says that his family, they're going on a cruise and they're going to spend a couple days in New Orleans before they get on.
Heck yeah, I've done that.
Looking for suggestions to go for amazing food, possibly some bars. Interested in po' boy.
Seafood, GW fins.
That one's on my list. I got it. I'm ready.
Bourbon House.
Okay, so Bourbon House does the barbecue shrimp po' boy.
Yes, that's a good one too. It's not a traditional po' boy. It's not a traditional. It's a more, they take
it's a different,
It's a different, it's good though. It's a barbecue shrimp po' boy.
Wherever you go, make sure they use the Liedenheimer.
I think that's how you say it.
Liedenheimer French bread for the po' boys.
Where's the place we like to get po' boys from?
We got a couple. So Parkway's good.
Yeah, Parkway's good.
NOLA po' boys is pretty good. Central Grocery and Deli.
That's what I was thinking. It's out by Central Park.
That's probably my favorite.
Yeah, their Daybreak po' boy. Oh, it's so good. And what's the place that's got the crazy ones? Like they were in the back of this bar we had to go in, but since then I think they've opened up a freestanding po' boy restaurant.
It's called Killer Po' Boys.
Killer Po' Boys. They're different. They're not like
authentic. They're not my favorite. They end up on everybody's like top 10 po' boy list.
Just because it was cool to go in the back of that bar and they only had like 2 tables and you'd go. It was like you knew something secret to go there and get something, but now they're pretty mainstream down there now.
And
Mother's is one that's always up, but we ate there and it wasn't worth the hype.
The two that I'm gonna say weren't worth the hype for me personally was the Killer Po' Boys and the Mothers.
Yeah. Koshan. Oh man, that's a good place.
So Koshan, you can go for dinner or you can go to the Koshan Butcher.
I'll go to Koshan Butcher
and go have lunch.
Yes.
That one's pretty cool.
The muffaletta there is fire.
But they do sausages and meats.
You get a little board, cool. Like a little board with some different stuff on it. It's got that grainy mustard and the little breads.
Toops.
Toops. Best chicken
Meadery.
Sandwich, best hamburger.
They have like a...
Go to Toops. Go to Toops. Toops is legit.
It's a little far out. It's not like in the quarter.
City Park, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an Uber ride. It's not far.
Yeah, it's not.
Not far from downtown at all.
But...
Go to Toops. Go see... Is it Chef Isaac? Is that who runs it?
Isaac Toops, yeah.
God, it's good.
So there's
What's the other burger place we try to go to? We've been
Portical.
Yeah, it's hard to get in, but man, they got a good burger.
They've got a really good burger.
Yeah.
But we don't even try anymore because the line's usually wrapped around.
Long,
yeah. And maybe we just go at the wrong times. Yep. It's kind of like Cafe Du Monde. Like, yeah, it's worth going to Cafe Du Monde and eating the beignets. Just go at the off time.
Yeah.
Go at
don't go at 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
You'll be there early or there's never a not busy time at Du Monde anymore.
Usually in the evening.
Yeah.
Go for dessert.
Yeah. You could probably go at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's not gonna be that many people there.
Yeah.
What about for oysters? Where would you go? Where would you send somebody for oysters?
Oh, I didn't even put that on the list.
I mean, you got Trago's if you like a char grill, they're fire. Acme, Felix's, those are good. Those are kind of touristy places. But there's one. What's the one over there by Jackson Square we like?
I don't know.
There's another one over there. It's like it's on the corner of 2 streets, and it's like you just walk in, you sit at the oyster bar right there off the street.
So I have some suggestions for fine dining restaurants, and then I got some suggestions for bars too.
Okay, you've like Chelle's the New Orleans travel. She comes up with new places every time we go.
Yeah, I like to try new stuff.
Yeah.
Restaurant Revolution.
Oh, one of the best meals I've had in New Orleans.
Yeah. And that's
and GW Fins and Emerald's.
GW Fins. Emerald's was really good. We hadn't been to Emerald's in a minute, though.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And Broussard's. Really good.
Broussard. That's the brunch spot. I don't know if I can go back there. I take up bottomless mimosas. So cute.
They probably have our picture up somewhere.
After
like
2 or 3 days of New Orleans and then doing that on a Sunday. My God, it's tough.
And Pesh.
Pesh is good.
Yeah. Okay, so bars, patos.
Oh, you got to.
You got to.
Just watch it. You will get in there and get on them hurricanes, and the next thing you know, it is 2 or 3 in the morning, and you've been sitting there listening to singing piano music for 8 hours, don't even know it.
It's touristy, but it's like
fun touristy.
It's fun, yeah. We went to this place last time where they're Beach Bum Berries, Latitude 29.
Was that the Tiki Bar?
Yeah,
that was cool. Bar. I did not expect that in New Orleans. Like you would not know it. It's attached loosely to some hotel. I don't even know. I just remember walking out there with people going to a pool, but in a courtyard. But it's also coming in the front. You wouldn't even know what it was. It's like I don't even think it has much of a sign, does it?
It's like a little.
Like the Uber driver dropped us off. We said, "Are we in the right spot?" And you found it. You go up this little stoop and step in, and all of a sudden you're in Tahiti. It feels like, but it's dark. It's dingy. It's very like 70s or 60s tiki-ish.
Like you're gonna see Werewolves of London.
Yeah, yeah. Every drink comes in like this clay tiki statue.
All different kinds.
Different kinds. Yeah, I think you have to make reservations. You can't just pop in and have a drink. And then even if you're sitting at the bar, they take reservations to come because when they make a drink for you, it might take 15, 20 minutes for one drink. You know, they make them right there in front of you. It's pretty amazing.
This one. Go to the carousel, but
the sidebar to the carousel is usually where I go.
If you want a fancy swanky bar, Sazerac bar.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's in one of the hotels.
I think it's the Roosevelt.
Yeah, I think it is. Lobby of the Roosevelt.
Bar Mary Lou. We like that one. Cafe and a Grill.
I love Cafe and the Grill. That's one of my jams too.
It's not nice. It ain't swanky or fancy.
No, but man, they got good fish tacos. They used to have good fish tacos. I hadn't had one. You go there and get your red stripe
because it's a
fish
reggae bar.
tacos.
It's a reggae bar in New Orleans.
Oh man, what street's it on? It's a
Magazine or something like that.
No, it's not Magazine.
Anyway,
it's not in the quarter.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if I don't consider that the quarter. It's way down.
But you get your red stripe, you listen to some reggae music, and then you go eat a taco out of the bag.
It's awesome. I love it.
Razzoos.
Yeah.
You
3
gotta
for
go to
ones.
Razzoos.
How can you not like 3 for ones at Razzoos? I may be a little, I don't know. I'm never too old for New Orleans. But I know last time I was there, we were with a group of friends. And I did feel old because we were out. They were playing all the good songs that they were playing when I was in college, and we were all out there on the dance floor and stuff. And I look around, having a good old time, and everybody's 30 years younger than me. I've got to go to my hotel and go to bed. It's well past my
we were having more fun than they were, though.
Way more fun than they were.
But
just buying racks of the test tube shots and passing them out. 3 for 1.
We were the life of the party because we were passing out all those test tube shots.
Yeah.
So
you get a shot. You get a shot.
One of the times y'all were there, we got tagged on Instagram that somebody saw you like out on a terrace, like, and there was.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was hollering. I was throwing beads and people. Yeah, it was. We had a big time.
You were in your element. I could tell.
New Orleans is, man, it'll trap you. Like if there's another city I could live in, it would be New Orleans. I'm not a city guy, but I love that town, man.
And I got
something about it.
I got 3 spots that I want to try because we are actually heading to New Orleans.
We'll be there this
tomorrow,
weekend. Yeah. Hey, if anybody's throwing up a Saints tailgate, y'all let us know. I'm looking for one. We're going to the Saints game. Who are they? They're playing the Falcons. We're going to go see. What's his name? He was my old quarterback. We got rid of him.
Dang it.
Cousins.
Yeah. Big Kirko.
Yeah. Captain Kurt.
So there's 3 spots that are kind of on my radar. Is Saint Pizza. It's supposed to have the best pizza in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Dat Dog.
It can't be better than Lucky Dog.
It's like a unique hot dog place. It's all hot dogs, all different toppings.
They've got them every corner, Lucky Dogs.
And I love Lucky Dog.
Lucky Dog.
I'll be fine. Let's go get a Dat Dog, then a Lucky Dog.
Compare them.
And then Turkey and the Wolf. We've never gone there, and everybody says
that's my sister-in-law's favorite spot. She has to go every time. She said they've got a Monte Cristo sandwich or
they do like a
sandwich.
Turnip green grilled cheese or something that's supposed to be really good.
What's the donut shop that everybody raves about? We went there and had some donuts. They were okay.
Voodoo Donuts, maybe?
Yeah.
It's something like that.
No, it was Voodoo. The Voodoo was the other sandwich place. Voodoo Po' Boys, wasn't it? Or what'd you call that place?
Killer Po' Boys?
Okay, maybe it is Voodoo Donuts.
Yeah, it's Voodoo Donuts.
Voodoo Donuts, okay. Nothing wrong with that. You know what I like? I like stumbling out of a bar and going to one of those pizza by the slice places.
The daiquiri bar and pizza by the slice places.
I always end up at one of those. You're not going to have a bad time. If you have a bad time in New Orleans, it's because you have a bad time everywhere you go.
I will recommend deciding okay, I want to try this place and making a point to go, try it.
Mm-hmm.
Like make a reservation, go try wherever it is.
I mean, getting around New Orleans isn't easy. You're either going to walk or you're probably going to call a taxi or an Uber.
And you can walk.
Because I do not recommend trying to drive to these places and move around, find parking and all that.
It's expensive.
Find you one place to park your car at or park outside, get a ride in the city and just have fun.
We parked one time at one of those premium spots, and I think it was like $75 for the day.
Daggone.
For like 8 hours. Yeah, it was steep. Might as well Uber.
Hey, if y'all be sure to let us know your favorite spots in New Orleans.
I'd love to.
Yeah, because we're always looking for new places to go.
Heck yeah. I like to try new places every time we go down there. New Orleans has some of the best food in the country, I would say.
In the world.
And the service is like, there's people that make career out of being servers and bartenders, and it
very professional.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The bartenders are awesome. Bloody Marys. Oh, I can't wait. I'm gonna get me a blue plate remoulade on a po' boy. Watch combo.
Oh yeah,
and crawfish or shrimp.
Blue plate is the
official mayonnaise of the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, we're gonna have to let them know that Blue Plate is also our official mayonnaise.
Of the Reed household. How to Barbecue Right's official mayonnaise.
If you're choosing mayonnaise this weekend, make sure to choose Blue Plate.
That's right. Quality mayonnaise since 1927.
Hashtag that's the good stuff.
Well, Malcolm, that's all I have for you today.
All right. Well, hey, man, you got me excited. I'm finna go pack a bag. I'm ready to point that car down I-55 South.
So, yeah, Saints Tailgate.
Saints, yeah. I
Hit us up.
don't even know if they I'm sure that surely they tailgate in New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's like it's a permanent tailgate down there.
Somebody's doing
Let me know
something.
where the bar is that everybody's hanging out at. I'm going.
Where to go get the Bloody Mary before
Yeah.
the game.
So here's the deal. I'm going to be in that sports book at the casino Saturday watching the Rebels in Georgia. Rebels going to beat another Bulldog. We're used to beating Bulldogs, Chelle.
I hope you do.
You think it's possible?
No.
Go ahead and make a prediction. Are you betting on who are you betting on?
I already
think the
bet.
line's like 2.5, isn't it?
I already bet. Well, like my pick on league.
Oh, who'd you pick?
Georgia.
Oh, that means they're going to win.
Probably the way my season's going, yeah. But
I know what I need to do. I need to bet on Georgia. That way, I'm
you do not have
guaranteed.
these powers.
I think
don't
he
know.
does. I don't know.
What it
I feel like
is. if I pick them, it's the other team's guaranteed to win.
Did you bet on the Lakers last night? I feel like you did.
I bet. I don't bet on NBA. Sometimes
have-
I will bet
It's usually
against the
finals.
Grizzlies. Yeah, it's usually playoffs. Regular season NBA. I'm not that much of a degenerate. I don't hockey, baseball, NBA, basketball. I might bet a little football. That's about my limits. I make my donations and go on. Hadn't won a single one in a while. But I'm going to be in that sports book watching that game, put me some bets on Saturday. I'm probably going to bet on the Falcons.
Don't
Just because I really
tell
think they're
them
going
like
to
that.
stall. I don't know what that line is. But
It's
Don't
going to
tell
be a
everybody.
good game. It's going to be a good time.
it's going to be a great game. Saints fired their coach, traded off some of their defensive player, got the wide receiver out. It's going to be a great game.
Is Jameis Winston still on that team?
No,
Okay.
he's quarterback for the Browns.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Or he
That's
was-
right.
he
He
was-
was like a week ago. Yeah.
Sweet.
He was the
Figured-
backup at Saints last year, wasn't he?
He'd been there for a while, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Tyler, what we got going on in the community? Anything?
Hey guys, so normally I talk a lot about the community, and y'all head on over there, facebook.com/group/HTQ community, but we have a super important thing that we have to talk about real quick. And next Thursday night, we are going live on all platforms. So that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at How to Barbecue Right. And we're going to be talking turkey, but we're also, Malcolm's going to be signing some hats that we're selling for an awesome cause. I believe we're giving all the proceeds that we make from this hat to our local food bank to feed
Feed some
families
folks
in
at
need.
Thanksgiving.
I would like for us to raise $4,000 for our local food.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be really
That's
awesome.
my goal.
And so we're super excited about that. So y'all, there'll be tons of promo and stuff like that, tons of event details and stuff and stories. So y'all keep a lookout for that. That way y'all know where. Oh. I'll laugh at that. So there will be tons of promos and stuff like that, all available in stories. So y'all make sure to be on the lookout for that and tune in and have lots of questions ready for Malcolm to answer. And we'll be here. And
Oh, if you want to start sending those questions and want us to talk about it, just, post on the community and say, this question I want answered on the thing,
absolutely.
on the Turkey Talk. That's going to be fun. Can I have some beers when I do that?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I may not want none when I come back this week.
Might be on a detox.
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and of course YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Chelle on Instagram and TikTok.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in with us today, and we will be back next week to talk more barbecue right. We gone.